In this video, we're going to take a look at two more long division problems. So let's start with the first example. So again, notice you are dividing by a binomial, so we have to do long division with this. So I'll rewrite. Now, notice also it's x cubed and x. There's no x squared, so I'm going to write plus 0x squared as a placeholder. So I ask myself, what do I multiply this leading term by to get this leading term here? Well, 4x times 2x squared gets me to 8x cubed. So I'm going to put 2x squared. Take 2x squared times 4x, that is 8x cubed. 2x squared times a negative 2 is negative 4x squared. Subtract. On the side, this is 0 minus a negative 4x squared plus a positive. That's 4x squared. Bring down the next term, which is negative 18x. So now, what do I multiply 4x by to get 4x squared? Well, that is a positive x. So I'm going to take x times 4x, which is 4x squared. I'm going to take x times a negative 2 is negative 2x. And subtract negative 18x minus a negative 2x. That's plus a positive. That's negative 16x. Bring down the next term, which is positive 7. Now, what do I multiply 4x by to get negative 16x? Well, that is negative 4. So negative 4 times 4x is negative 16x. Negative 4 times a negative 2 is a positive 8. Subtract. 7 minus a positive 8 is negative 1. Okay. So the negative 1 is going to be my remainder. So I'm going to put plus a negative 1 over the divisor, which is 4x minus 2. Now, as a note, I'll write them both down. This answer, 2x squared, plus x minus 4 plus a negative 1 over 4x minus 2 is exactly the same thing as 2x squared plus x minus 4 minus 1 over 4x minus 2. Either one of these answers are okay. But you got to be careful. If you've got more than one part of a remainder and you put minus, remember, you'd have to distribute the negative to both. In this case, we don't have that. Either one of these is fine. But more times than not, I will probably just use the plus part. Okay, one more example I want to take a look at then. Okay, so first of all, again, I have a binomial in the denominator, so I know I'm going to have to do long division. So let's write it out. Now, notice the denominator. I have 3z squared, but I do not have any z, so I'm going to put plus 0c plus 1. Okay, I'm going to ask myself, what do I multiply 3z squared by to get 3z cubed? Well, that is just z, so I'll put the z here. Z times 3z squared is 3z cubed. Z times 0, z is 0z squared. And z times 1 is z. Subtract. So 21z squared plus 5z. Notice I'm going to distribute the negative, minus 0z squared and a minus z. Well, that's 21z squared. And 5z minus z is a positive 4z. Bring down the next term, which is 2. Now, what do I multiply 3z squared to get 21z squared? Well, that's a positive 7. So plus 7. 7 times 3z squared is 21z squared. 7 times 0z is 0z. And 7 times 1 is 7. Subtract. So 4z plus 2, distribute the negative, minus 0z, and that is at minus 7. Well, that is 4z. And 2 minus 7 is negative 5. So the 4z minus 5 is the remainder. So I'm going to write it as plus 4z minus 5 over the divisor, which is 3z squared plus 1.